teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time with us, let me explain how the classes work. Today our topic is English tenses in the past. If you have a question during the class, write your question in the comments section and I'll answer it at the end of the class. I also have a few questions for you after my lesson to practice what we've learned today, and you can write your answers in the comments section as well. So, let's review the English tenses in the past. We're going to start with the most basic tense, the past simple. So when do we use the past simple? We use the past simple to talk about completed actions in the past. To form the past simple, we add the ending ed to regular verbs, or if the verb is irregular, we have to memorize the form in the past simple. We'll look at this a little bit more closely in a minute. Let's look at an example of a sentence in the past simple. We ate Italian food for dinner last night. So this is a completed action, so we use the past simple, and the verb to eat is irregular. The past simple is ate. Okay, next we have the past perfect. We use the past perfect to talk about something that occurred before another action in the past. We form the past perfect with the verb to have in the past, which is had, plus the participle. Okay, for example, I had already left the office when you stopped by. So the past perfect here is had left, and the adverb already goes in the middle. Okay, the past continuous is for ongoing actions in the past or interrupted actions in the past, because normally in the same sentence you have the past continuous plus the past simple, which is the action that interrupts another action. We form the past continuous with the verb to be in the past, so was or were, depending on the subject, plus the verb with ing. For example, I was taking a bath when the phone rang. So the ongoing action in the past is the was taking a bath, and it was interrupted by the phone when the phone rang. Past simple. Okay, now let's look at the past perfect continuous. This is something that started in the past and continued up until another point in the past. We form the past perfect continuous with had been plus the verb with ing. For example, I had been waiting for you for an hour when I decided to take a taxi. So the ongoing action that started in the past and continued up to a certain point is the waiting. I had been waiting for you, and then you decided to take a taxi. So that's when the action finished in the past. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about the difference between regular and irregular verbs in the past. Okay, as I said before, with regular verbs, we add the ending ed or d if the verb ends in an e. Okay? For example, we talked on the phone for 2 hours. So the verb to talk is regular, so we add the ending ed, talked. So if the verb is irregular, how do we know? Well, you have to memorize irregular verbs. There are lots of irregular verbs in the English language, so I recommend memorizing a few at a time. Today we're going to look at some of the most common ones. Okay? Let's take a look at some irregular verbs. We're going to look at the present or the infinitive, the past simple, and the past participle. Okay? For example, for the verb to do, the past simple is did, and the past participle is done. For the verb to have, the past simple is had, and the past participle is also had. In some cases, for irregular verbs, the past simple and the participle are the same. Okay? For the verb to take, the past simple is took, and the participle is taken. For the verb to eat, the past simple is ate, and the participle is eaten. And to drink, the past simple is drank and the past participle is drunk. So to memorize them, you can memorize these 3 tenses. So do, did, done. Drink, drank, drunk. Okay, so try to repeat these and then you will start to remember them more easily. Okay, now let's look at how to form questions in the past. To form a question in the past, we use the auxiliary verb to do in the past tense, so did, plus the subject, plus the infinitive. Okay, for example, did you go to the cinema this weekend? So we have did plus the subject, you, and the verb without the to, go. Did you go to the cinema this weekend? Now let's talk about the verb can, which is actually to be able to. Okay? In the past simple of can is could, but there is no participle. There is no participle for the verb could. It's actually to be able to. So for example, let's look at an example of could in the past. When I was younger, I could run a marathon. Okay? To form the negative, we use could not in the past, or the contraction couldn't. So for example, I couldn't call you last night because my phone died. So could not or couldn't. Okay, now that we've done a review of tenses in the past, let's practice together. I'm going to ask you 3 questions and you can write your answers in the comment section. Question number 1, write a sentence in the past with an irregular verb. So we just looked at some examples of the most common irregular verbs. Maybe you already know a few more. So if you can think of an example in the past with an irregular verb, write your example in the comments. Number 2, write a sentence in the past with could. Okay, when do we use could? If you can think of an example, write it in the comments. And finally, write a sentence in the past continuous. Do you remember when we use the past continuous and how to form it? If so, write an example. Okay, as you are answering my questions, let me tell you about our course here at ABBA. If you're not familiar with it, we have a complete course from beginners to business level with 144 units. Each unit features a short film, a video class, and exercises to help you improve your English. If you register as a free student, you will have access to all of the video classes and the first unit of each level. If you decide to go premium, then you'll have access to all of the course content. If you study with us at ABBA, you can study from your cell phone, from your tablet or your PC, and your progress will be saved on all of these devices. So it's a very flexible way to study anywhere you are and any time. So right now we're posting a link at the top of the page. If you want to learn more about our course and join 16 million other students, then click on this link, which will take you to our website. Let me tell you about other resources we have available to you at ABBA. We have a blog. It's called our ABBA Journal. We have hundreds of articles about grammar and culture. You can find it available in other languages as well with translations if you want. And that way you can practice your grammar a little bit more. We also have our Facebook page, which you're using right now. We have a SoundCloud page with podcasts that you can listen to. And we have a Twitter page and a YouTube channel. So make a note of all of these free resources that you can use and check them out if you haven't already. Okay, let's see who is joining us today. Where are you from? And what questions or comments do you have about English tenses in the past. Let's see. All right. Okay. Okay, Shakir, Gina's, Elo, and Twang are joining us. Twang asked how to remember vocabulary. So a good way to remember vocabulary is to make note cards. So you can write the vocabulary word and the definition or the translation on the other side and review them in groups of 5 or 10 vocabulary words. The same goes for the verbs. So to memorize the verb tenses or to memorize your irregular verbs, this is a great way to do that by making note cards or writing them down several times or repeating them like I did before with do, did, done, for example. Okay. All right, let's see who else is joining us today. Okay, Chin asks, can you say my father is in the hospital or in hospital? Both are correct. One, in hospital is British English and in the hospital is American English. So both are correct. Okay. All right, I'm having a problem with the iPad. So I encourage you to keep writing your answers in the comments section and I'll answer them after the class is over. Let me tell you about our class next week. Next week we're going to do an introduction to phonetics. So if you want to learn a little bit about the phonetic alphabet, we're going to take just a few of the sounds and start talking about how to recognize the symbols and when to use them. So if you want to learn more about the phonetic alphabet, we will talk about this next week. The schedule for the month of July will be posted very soon on our Facebook page, so you can find the date, time, and the subject of the classes for the month of July. So I hope that you can join us for that one. Remember that you can turn on your notifications to receive a message anytime we're live streaming. So you can do that so you won't miss another one. Okay? So thank you for your participation today. I'm sorry that the iPad is not working, but I promise after the class I will answer all of your questions in the comments. So keep writing. If you think of something that you want to add, please do so. Remember that all of the video classes, all of the live streaming classes are available in the video section of our Facebook page. So if you're just joining us, you can find all of our previous classes. You can see what topics we've talked about in the past and watch those classes. You can share them on your Facebook page or tag someone you think might want to watch. And if you watch them again, you can pause, you can take notes. So check those out, okay? So I hope that you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining. Bye.